After all the nerfs to professional scouts, Ottoman has risen once again, and every pro player now considers them a priority pick for tournaments and even placed them in the S tier. We've even seen how the Ottomans started beating the crap out of top tier civs like China in the latest tournament, so let's get into why this is. This build is great because it is one of the most versatile ones you're ever going to see. You can deal with pretty much any type of civ in this game. Dark Age Rushers, Feudal Aggression civs, or even Fast Castle civs. We are going to start with a military school in the Dark Age, which will give us a few spearmen to harass our opponent and throw their plan a little bit off. And then we'll start scaling into these like crazy, giving us a ton of free army production, while we either go to Castle Age or stay in Feudal and fight. We will also make great use of possibly the best cavalry unit in the game, the Sipahi, which can compete even against knights, thanks to their increased range, stats, and to the fortitude ability, which basically makes them attack as fast as machine guns. If you manage to get into the late Castle Age without taking too much damage, there will be no army in the entire game that will be able to stop you. So let's get into the build. Start off by sending all villagers to a straggler tree, and then individually sending 1 to the gold, 1 to the stone, and 2 to the sheep, leaving 2 only on the straggler tree. Then, build a house with 1 of the food villagers and set your rally point to the food as well. The scout should be going towards your enemy base, and just try to loosely find where their resources are. Once you reach 150 wood and 100 stone, send 1 of your straggler tree villagers to the food, and the other one should start building the military school. Once you finish building the school, send the builder to mine gold, for a total of 2 on gold. At around the 3-minute mark, you should have enough resources to edge up with the twin minaret madrasa, with 4 villagers. By this point, your scout should be back with the sheep, so you do not run out of food under your base. Also, leave only 4 villagers on food and send the rest to the straggler trees and your rally point to the trees as well. Once we have reached another 100 stone, transfer the stone villager to the gold for a total of 3. And once you reach the feudal age, leave the 4 landmark villagers on the berry that spawns from the twin minaret and start building another military school. Now, let's stop here for a second. From here, there are 1,000 possibilities on what you can do. First, the spearmen that popped out of the military school could be used to either harass the opponent's gold mine or to defend your own gold mine. As soon as you reach feudal age, switch the military schools to start producing Sipahi instead. Next, notice we have 8 on food, 10 on wood, and 3 on gold. Our villager distribution after this will depend on what you want to do. If you want to produce Sipahi from 2 stables, rally your villagers to food, since Sipahi are very food heavy. If you want to produce Sipahi from just 1 stable and focus on making archers instead, then rally more villagers to the woodline. If instead you would like to go to the fast castle without making much units, then just make a blacksmith to improve the production speed of your military schools and transfer your wood villagers between gold and food so you can age up as fast as possible. In this case, this build will focus on staying on feudal and making units. As soon as you reach 10 on wood, start rallying to the sheep and build a blacksmith and 2 stables whenever you can. Make sure to build the blacksmith in a way that its influence catches both your military schools and the rest of your production buildings. Also, get horticulture and the first wood upgrade as soon as you can with the gold you have been gathering. The rest of the gold will be used to get your blacksmith upgrades, to produce mectors, and to get the rest of your economic upgrades. Somewhere around the 6 minute and 50 seconds mark, you will have to make your first vizier point choice. This, again, depends on the matchup and map. But in general, if you feel you want to stay under your base because you are not good at defending villagers on exposed resources, then go for the sheep vizier point. If you feel you have the micro to save damaged Sipahi after a fight so you can later heal them with the imams, then go for the imams instead. Both options are good, and this just depends on what you feel most comfortable with. Now, from here on, you will have to react to what your opponent is doing. If you see a ton of spears, then you can build archery ranges to make archers. If you are going against a knight civ, then you could go for a barracks and produce spearmen. Make sure you produce a mector when you have a decent group of Sipahi, by the way, and switch the mector's aura depending on what you are doing. The attack speed is great for catching villagers off guard. The melee armor is obviously good against melee units, and the ranged armor is awesome when fighting a big ball of archers or for diving TCs and towers. After a while, if you want to go to Castle Age, then grab almost every wood villager and transfer them to a food source and to the gold. And if you happen to get a second vizier point, then you could go for the imams, so you can start grabbing the relics immediately after aging up, or you can also opt for the extra military academy. 100% of the times, by the way, age up to the castle with the imperial armory, since this thing will produce siege for free for the whole rest of the game. I advise you to set it to produce springles, by the way, since these are produced faster and are great against the spearmen that your opponent will have to produce to counter your Sipahi. Now, all you have to do is upgrade all your units, grab the relics with the imams, start mining stone again, by the way, so you can build more military academies, and just stay in your base and produce Sipahi, archers and janissaries. This army is basically the best army in the game without a doubt, since Sipahi deal exceptionally well against archers and function great as a frontline. The janissaries will completely obliterate cavalry, and the springles from your landmark will destroy spearmen or men-at-arms. If you survived until this point, all you need to do from here on is wait until you have a big enough army and then march everyone towards your enemy's base. There is literally not a single army that can stop this push, and you can even win against Imperial Age armies in some cases. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Vizier points. As I mentioned in the beginning, the first one should be either sheep or imams, depending on your playstyle, or the matchup you're playing. In the second row, grab either military campus if you feel you have control over the game, or extensive fortifications if you feel you are about to get attacked by a really big army. In the third row, I like Advanced Academy if I feel the game is going to take a while to end, or Janissary Company if you already have all your military academies built and you feel you can attack with a pretty good timing to end the game. And in the final row, I pretty much always go for the Great Bombard since it's just the instant value, and the other two are just situational. Now, I would like to cover a second variation of the opening in this video, since it is very important to have both in your back pocket. This one is going to be really good against civilizations where you want to have spearmen attacking their base extremely quickly. For example, against Byzantines, Golden Horde, or French. Start off by sending 5 villagers to the stone and 1 to the sheep, as well as your rally point. Your scouts should go straight to your opponent's base looking for an exposed resource, and as soon as your stone villagers gathered 50 stone, drop it off, start building a military academy, and then send them to chop an extra 100 wood at the nearest strider tree. After this, send 3 villagers to the gold mine and the rest to the food. In this example I sent only 2, but I will fix that mistake later. In the meantime, your free spearmen should go straight to your opponent's base and start harassing villagers. This time we will start aging up at around the 315 mark, 15 seconds later than the previous variation, but with the advantage of having spearmen much quicker at your opponent's base. Now just transition back to the build explained before. Leave only 4 villagers and food, send the rest to the wood, and once you have enough to build a second mining camp, send 1 or 2 villagers to the stone, so you can later build your second military academy. Both of these variations are good, you just need to figure out in which maps and matchups it is best to have faster spearmen attacking your opponents early. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this build is not easy to counter due to how adaptable it is, but the best thing you can do is to try one of these two things. First, try to play aggressively in Feudal Age. Ottoman is very slow, so you will have a pretty good window of opportunity to deal a ton of damage to them. Just make sure you don't just trade against their units and then let them run, because if they went for the Imam Vizier point, then they will just heal their unit back. Also, make sure you always build towers in your exposed resources, because Sipahi are probably the best raider unit in the game. If you look away for a second, they will completely wipe away a few villagers thanks to the fortitude ability. If you are playing a good fast castle civ, you can try to hit them with a really fast timing before they get a mass of units to defend themselves. This can be extremely effective for civs like Lancaster, Sushi, or HRE for example, that can get to castle faster than anyone else with a good enough economy to immediately start pumping castle edge units. Just make sure you build a tower or anything to protect your gold in the meantime, since Ottoman can still have 3 units in a fast castle race due to the military school. Alright, here we go guys, so here we're going to be looking at a game by Beastie playing the Ottomans against Myriad. The reason I am casting Beastie instead of my own games is because I pretty much suck. I just suck so much with Ottomans, so instead of disgracing your eyes with my gameplay of a civ that I don't know how to play that much, I would rather just give you the perspective of a much better player than myself. So let's see. Beastie is obviously not going to be doing exactly the same build that I showed in the intro of this video, but it is going to be very similar. So as we see right now, he is going into the very fast military school variation, and we saw here for a second that he actually had his military school pointing towards Myriad's exposed resources, but then he saw that Myriad himself also went for a spearman rush. So what does he do? He goes straight into the gold to get the gold that he needs. He already has it, and he now has his spearmen defensively. Now that he has the 200 gold needed for age up, then he just goes straight into sheep, and that's pretty much going to be the extent of the damage that Mirad is going to be able to do. Here, I don't think he does not lose a spearman, but now he has his spearman defending, and this is the advantage of this. So you can use them both defensively or offensively, and now that he has the advantage here, he actually could have probably, no, I don't think he could have killed one by garrisoning, but now that he's going to have 3 spearmen pretty soon, he's going to be able to fight against these 3 spearmen of Myriad, and then he will just be able to retake this gold. So very good adaptation by Beastie, and now he just goes into pretty much the same thing that I showed you guys in the build. A lot of villagers on wood, there's probably 10 or 12 here. Let's actually see the villager distribution, and the rest on food. And now he's going for the 2 on stone, because now that he is on village, he will be able to spawn and to build a different military school. And now that the spearman went away, he goes back into the gold. So pretty straightforward way to defend this. Mirad, I don't think did that much damage, to be honest. And now he knows that he is going for the Imperial Hippodrome, the stronghold, and the arsenal. So pretty standard for Macedonian Dynasty. Right now, if we see the military count, Beastie just got the stable like right now, and even though that's the case, he already has a ton of military units thanks to the military school. He also switched the military school to the Sipahi. Don't forget to do this, because Sipahi, if military schools start producing Sipahi instead of spearmen, it's actually a little bit, I believe it's a little bit more efficient in resources wise. So yeah, pretty good base layout. He went into an archery range because he saw he had spearmen, and Macedonian Dynasty likes to go for a ton of infantry, as we see here. He's going for early Varangian guards, and archers are going to be able to deal with that pretty easily, because even though Varangian guards are really strong on melee fights, they are kited really easily. At least at the beginning, when the champion Raidari, the Hippodrome Raidari, is not out yet. So here, Myriad is going for a attack, and at the same time, Beastie is also attacking Myriad's food. But Beastie doesn't actually get anything from his raid, because there were 2 towers over there protecting, and Myriad does get 2 villagers with this raid, but he loses absolutely everything. And take a look at how Sipahi are so great at killing stuff that's running away. And on the other side of the map, I don't think Beastie lost a single unit, but he also didn't get that much. So now Myriad is coming on with the Varangian guards, but take a look at how many units Beastie has. So right now, even though Varangian guards are really strong, I don't think Myriad expected Beastie to have these many units. Look at how the production of Ottomans compared to another pretty good feudal age civilization like Macedonian Dynasty. Look at this amount of units. It's actually crazy how many units there are here by Beastie. All thanks to all of these production buildings, and all thanks to the sheep that he has. He has still 8 sheep thanks to the Vizier point that he got. Right now, I think he went for the imams. I am not pretty sure, but he definitely went for the sheep at the beginning. And right now, this already looks like GG to me, because if Beastie is able to deny the gold from Myriad, there's nothing else Macedonian Dynasty can do. The only economic bonus that they have is their silver mining. And this is incredible, by the way. The fact that you can get all 3 type of units so easily with the Ottomans is a really good advantage. And then Myriad just decides to call the game right there. Okay guys, so now we are going into a second game. This is Roger Scroton versus Best Coming. These guys, I believe, are around 1700 and 1800 ELO. And Roger Scroton here is going for the regular build, the base build that I talked about. So 1 stone, 1 gold, 2 on strider trees, the rest would go to sheep. So pretty much exactly what I explained on the build order section. And let's see what the Japanese player is doing. So he went straight for a barracks, which is really good for Japanese due to how cheap the barracks are. They cost only 75 wood. And then this villager would probably be able to get some a dog here or something of this sort. And as we see, he's mining a ton of wood, so that is definitely what he's going for. And this spearman that is really fast, because it's 2 minutes and he's already here on the gold, is going to start harassing at our Ottoman player gold. And here, let's see what he does. So he just sends his weak villager back, and he just needs to mine 35 more gold, and he can just click on each of the weak villagers as they get damaged and send them back. And now that he has 200 gold, he just needs to get some food, and then he will be able to age up. And he also went for the military school, so he will have some units later to push these spearmen off. So in my opinion, guys, spearman rushing an Ottoman player is really not that effective, because if you see this variation here, this guy has already mined 60 stone. So what he does is he's going to send 3 more here in order to get the stone that he needs. He only needs 100, and these spearmen have basically accomplished absolutely nothing, because he already got the gold he needed to age up. He already got the stone he needs for the second military school, and now he's getting the wood he needs for the military school as soon as the landmark is completed. Now he sent his 3 spearmen there to harass the villager that was constructing the docks, and let's see if he gets it. I don't think he will. He was on an attack move, so he finds the 2 spearmen. I don't think he saw the villager there because he has the hidden forest there. But now I think I like this position more for the Ottoman player, because now the army production that he will start to have once he gets into the feudal age, he's already in the feudal age. The one that was aging up just now was the Japanese player, which right now has better economy thanks to the fishing boats, but he's actually really late to get this going. And now let's see what he does. So Roger Scruton is always scouting. He wants to see what he's doing, and depending on what military production building the Japanese player here does, then he will probably respond with something else. He loses the scout though, and he didn't see any military production buildings, but he already has quite a bit of units here, and he decides to go for the imams because he has a ton of injured units, and then these units will start trading much better after the imams heal them. But at this point, let's see what he goes for. He went for 1 stable. He has 2 military production buildings, and it seems like he wants to go to castle, because otherwise he wouldn't have an outpost here. He uses the Sipahi to raid, and it seems like the Japanese player is also going for a fast castle, because he pretty much closed himself off and built a tower. If you see a tower in the gold, by the way, guys, it is most likely means that the player is going for a fast castle, because if he was going for units, then he can just defend the gold with units. And right now, if we see the military production, Ottoman player is obviously going to be in a much better position due to the military schools. And right now, it seems like the Japanese player is all very close to the castle age. So I would like to see how Ottoman player here manages to go after that. So this is also a pretty good way to play Ottomans, by the way, guys. It's because at this time he is going to reach castle age almost at the same time as the Japanese player. He has not received a single bit of damage. He is probably worse off economy wise due to the fishing ships, but he has a lot more military units. So at this point, both are going to reach the castle age almost at the same time. He uses fortitude, by the way. This ability increases attack speed, and it also affects the torch damage. So he only loses 1 Sipahi, but manages to burn the dog. So if he wants to repair it, he would need to send 1 villager there, or else this dog is just going to die. And for the next PCR point, I believe he went for military campus. So he wants to get 1 more military academy. He's already mining the stone for it. Now it is a race for the relics, and he already got 2 because he went for the imam. So this is one of the best things that you can go for when you go for the imam PCR point. And now his Sipahi are pretty nicely and upgraded. And now let's take a look at this. These mounted samurai are not going to be able to do absolutely anything against this army. He went for crossbows instead of archers, because he was looking at a ton of knights that are weak to crossbows. So really nice read by Ottoman player here, and all he needs to do is defend. He will scale much better than the Japanese player. The Japanese player is probably winning in resources, as we can see here. I think he is a little bit better off than Ottoman player, not by that much, but the military production of this man is extremely well, and he keeps getting these small pickups here. He gets 3 relics for 2 of the Japanese player. So pretty nice. He went for the imams, and that allowed him to get more relics than a Japanese that specializes in getting monks really fast. So that is something really nice that you can go for. And by the way, he went for 2 farms because he didn't have the extra sheep. So this is why he hasn't run out of food yet. And also, the fact that he has these many military schools means that he doesn't need that much food. If you can see here, he actually only has 13 guys on food, and he has this amount of military production buildings, and he's actually beating the Japanese player in military units, even though the Japanese player has double the food villagers, which is actually insane. This is why if you don't do any damage to Ottomans, you are going to have a really bad time, because this is only going to scale. Right now he's using his infantry to defend and his siege, and he sends his Sipahi to raid. He sees that the Japanese player is going for some sacred sites. He actually hides 1 imam here, and there's a raiding coming, but our Ottoman player here sees it and then just sends his infantry there to protect. He knows there's a knight here somewhere. He's probably looking for it, and he finally finds it. And now he gets raided on the other side, so now you just send the other part of the infantry there. And this raid, by the way, even if he takes a couple of villagers away from the Ottoman player, as we can see here in the top, he's actually really below in villagers as opposed to the Japanese player. He's actually killing a ton of military units from him. I think the Japanese player lost a ton of health on these knights. He lost 1 or 2 over here, and probably 1 here. So he is losing a ton of military units and health by doing these raids. And yes, you can kill the economy of the Ottoman player, but then what are you going to do about this? This is absolutely disgusting, and there's nothing the Japanese can do to stop this army. What he wants to do actually is to trade. He is going to go for the Ottoman player's base because he knows he cannot deal with this. So now Sipahi are here trying to get into the base. Samurai are here, and he's going to have to fight against the reinforcements. He actually decides to go around because he doesn't want to deal with that. On the other side of the map, the Ottoman player is going for a frontal push, and this is the issue. The reinforcements from the Japanese player cannot deal with that. Meanwhile, the reinforcements from the Ottoman player can definitely deal with the army of the Japanese player here. He has siege, he has Janissaries that absolutely destroy mounted samurai, and he also has a ton of crossbows here. These archers without a front line will not be able to deal with that. And here I think all of the reinforcements from the Japanese player just died, or actually no, he just sends it here over this way. He's also migrating his villagers because he cannot do anything about the Ottoman player. And the reinforcements from the military schools and the rest of the production are enough to deal with that, and then the Japanese player just calls the game. There's nothing you can do against that frontal push. It is just way too strong.